Okay, here it is. My 2-year anniversary Q&A video. I got a lot of questions. A lot of questions were asked. A lot more than I did last year. So this might take long. And anyway, let's get started. The following questions will be asked by D. DePenko. First question: will you ever do a real horror game like Silent Hill or Dead Space? I still or I still plan on doing horror games, but not really Silent Hill or Dead Space specifically. I never really got into those games a lot when I was younger, and to be honest, I really don't plan to. Just saying. But if there ever is a horror game that comes across my interest and it's popular enough to be done as an LP, I'll definitely consider doing it. All right. Next question: will you ever buy some more PS3 exclusives like God of War 3 or Killzone? Um, yeah. I definitely continue to still play the PlayStation 3. I know, or a lot of you guys mentioned how I was doing my Modern Warfare 3 walkthrough on an Xbox. That is true. This Christmas I got an Xbox 360, and I also got Modern Warfare 3 for that. I do have a copy of Modern Warfare 3 for the PlayStation, but I just decided to do one for the Xbox 360 for personal reasons of my own. But yeah, I'll never give up on the PlayStation 3. I've invested a lot of money. I think like I've actually invested at least $1,000 just on the game. Or just on my PlayStation itself. The system, the PlayStation system cost $300 at the time. The extra controller was like $25. Um, every game I bought was at least $60. And I've got like at least 10 games in there, if not more. So 10 times 60, that's $600 plus 300. So we have $900 already going to, with the addition of all the map packs and all the add-ons that I've bought from the store for Black Ops and World at War. So yeah, I've spent a shit ton of money just on the PlayStation over the last 3 years that I've had the PlayStation 3. So I'm never giving up on it. I'll probably even take it to college with me if if I even have it that long. Um, so yeah. Next question: do you think COD 9 will continue the story from Black Ops? Yeah, I definitely see that happening because COD 9 is going to be made by Treyarch, and World at War was continued sorry, Black Ops continued the story from World at War, and though they were both Treyarch games, so I don't see why they wouldn't. I'd be surprised if they didn't actually, but yeah. Next question: why did you start making walkthroughs? Oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce this person who asked this. The following questions will be asked by IJ Josh Walkthroughs. The first question from him is, why did you start making walkthroughs? About 3 years ago, I actually just started watching Bobby Rocks. I was actually amazed at how he did the games that he did, how his style, the amount of people who were like watching him, and I was a big fan of his until he quit this year or last year. Um, so he definitely inspired me to do games, and yeah, it's been a blast. Like I said, I mentioned this in the anniversary video. It definitely has not been a waste of time or money buying the equipment and spending time doing the games. I've had a lot of fun. Even though there have been a few problems that have occurred over the years, it was definitely a blast. It was worth the time. Trying to find the videos to fix the problems. Setting it up. It was so much fun, and I recommend everyone to do that. Even though if everyone did walkthroughs, then there would be no viewers. So yeah. Next question. What is your favorite out of the following: Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Resident Evil, or Uncharted? Well, let me go ahead and explain my reasons for each of the games, why I like them. Assassin's Creed is more of a sandbox kind of game, which I like. Call of Duty has a big multiplayer, or or it's mainly multiplayer, which I like. Resident Evil is more of a survival RPG, which I like. And Uncharted is an action adventure slash shooter type of game, which I like. But if I had to pick one out of the four, it would definitely be Call of Duty. And the only reason is because Call of Duty is the only multiplayer game of the four. Or no way, I take that back. Uncharted has a little multiplayer on it, but it's not as big as Call of Duty is. The reason why I like Call of Duty better than Uncharted is because of they've got better weapons, better style, better game types, multiplayer. I'm not saying Uncharted's multiplayer is bad. I'm just saying COD's is better. So, yeah. Um, Resident Evil and Assassin's Creed, they're both fun games, but they don't they're more of a single player kind of story type of games. And I like don't get me wrong, plot games with story games like they're fun, but when you beat the story like two or three times, it gets kind of old after a while. But when you've got multiplayer games like Call of Duty or Battlefield, they've got multiplayer and the experience it never dies. You've got a different combination of people that play and different weapons that you could use, different games, different types of games. So yeah, the experience could last a very long time. Whereas on single player, you've got the same story that you repeat every single time, and it's nothing new. But like I said before, there's nothing wrong with story games. I'm just saying these are the reasons why I think COD is the best of these four. Next question. What is your favorite walkthrough that you have done so far? That would definitely have to be Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I definitely got a lot of buzz during the time period I did that walkthrough. My views and likes of videos significantly were raised, and a lot of people seem to enjoy them. And I enjoyed doing that walkthrough. Um, it was one of my shorter walkthroughs though, but it was still a good time. And the reason why it was actually good was because I was posting those videos leading up to the arrival of Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception. So yeah, I was like, I had the adrenaline going through me when I was, playing it, and it was definitely one of my more enjoyable walkthroughs. Or no, I'm sorry, it was the most enjoyable walkthrough of any game that I've done. So yeah. Next question: who is your favorite YouTube gaming channel? My favorite gaming channel would have to be Chugger Conroy. He is a Let's Player like myself. He's been doing LPs though a lot longer than I have. He does more Nintendo slash GameCube kind of games. Um, he's currently doing a Pokemon Emerald walkthrough. But he's done walkthroughs such as Zelda and the Mario games. He's actually the person who inspired me to do the Paper Mario series this upcoming summer. I know it was asked of me to do the Paper Mario series, but he was like, I was always going to do that. It was just until then that I posted that video asking for what games I did. When that person asked me to do the Paper Mario series, that was when it came to my mind that now's the time to be doing the game as a walkthrough. So, but yeah, he was definitely the main inspiration. He's funny. He definitely knows how to put videos in, or he knows how to pack in, being funny and helping people beat the game at the same time. And he's just one of the more enjoyable Let's Players that I've met. He has more subscribers than Vash and Boffy Rocks have combined times 4. Yeah, that's a lot. So, yeah, I definitely encourage all of you guys to go subscribe to him. He's really great. Next question. Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops? If you're asking me which game is better, I really can't decide, to be honest. Um, if you're asking me which, or multiplayer wise, I think Modern Warfare 3 was a lot better than Black Ops. Black Ops multiplayer was okay, but Modern Warfare 3 kicks ass. However, I think that Black Ops' zombies are better than Modern Warfare 3's Spec Ops. just because zombies is more of a survival thriller, whereas Spec Ops you're just shooting random guys that try to kill you while or completing a mission. So I just think zombies are better than Spec Ops. However, the campaign on Modern Warfare 3 was a lot more intense than Black Ops campaign, if you want to know the truth. So, Modern Warfare 3's, I guess, got more points than Black Ops. All right, next question. What is your favorite Resident Evil game? I think I've been over this before. Just so you guys know, Resident Evil 3 was definitely. I've played all the Resident Evil games, but Resident Evil 3 was the best in my opinion. It just the gaming kind of style. It even beat Code Veronica in my opinion. Um, just the gameplay, the story, it was a lot better. I think Code Veronica kind of it that was kind of the first game, the transition that led into the the style, the loss. I'm sorry, the loss of style of what Resident Evil stood for, what it used to be. So yeah, definitely Resident Evil 3. All forward for that game. Um, Next question. Do you play sports games? Not typically. I don't own any. Like I don't own Madden, any of the Madden games. However, if I ever go to my cousin's house and he's got it on, I'll just grab a controller and we'll play, football, a little baseball. But I would never buy a game just because I'm not really interested in them. Like they're just fun to play like every once in a while. They're not something I would typically, open the game, put it in every single day and just start playing it. It's just not my type of game. I actually play real sports. I play baseball and a little bit of basketball and volleyball. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Which Uncharted game was your favorite? Um, that's another tough question. Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 were definitely the two best of the three. Um, it's kind of hard to decide though. Uncharted 3 it never really made any more further advancements than Uncharted 2. Um, the gameplay style wasn't that much different. They had a few advancements, but it wasn't anything compared to the advancements from Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2. So, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be Uncharted 3. I just because I felt that the weapons used in that game were a lot better than the weapons used in Uncharted 2, but the story was better. Uncharted 2's story was a lot better than Uncharted 3's, if you want to know the truth. Okay, and the last question by IJ Josh Walkthroughs is: do you think Naughty Dog will make an Uncharted 4? I highly doubt that. If they, I'm not saying that they're not going to. It's very possible they might, but if they do, I'm all up for doing an LP on it if I'm still around by the time it comes out. If they, but I'm sorry, like I said before, I don't think they will, just because in Uncharted 3 they kind of wrapped up the story a little bit there. So I can't make that determination. Um, so like I said before, I don't think they will, but if they do, I'll probably do a walkthrough on it. All right, and the following questions are from RainDog87. You guys know her as though she was the girl who guest starred on my Resident Evil 3 Nemesis walkthrough. First question by her are: what are your thoughts on Resident Evil 6? I'm excited for Resident Evil 6. It looks pretty cool. The trailer was pretty intense. I'm kind of I'm fearing that it won't be any different from Resident Evil 5, which is what a lot of people who play Resident Evil are expecting, that it is different than Resident Evil 5, because Resident Evil 5 was fun and all, but Resident Evil 5 along with Resident Evil 4, they both kind of they've they what's the word I'm looking for? They've kind of forgotten the true meaning behind what Resident Evil stood for back in the late 90s when, the first games were created. And so I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to be any different than what, Resident Evil 5 was like. So I hope I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong. I hope it's something better. I hope they've made better advancements than, what they did in Resident Evil 5. So, yeah, that's what I think. Next question by her is, what kind of music do you listen to? I listen to rap, metal. I'm kind of into, let's see, I listen to Eminem, Drake, Lil Wayne, Nelly. Who else do I listen to? Chameleonaire. Uh, I think that's it for rap. I listen to for metal. I listen to Breaking Benjamin. I listen to Nickelback. A little Green Day. I used to listen to them a lot when I was younger, but not anymore so much. Um, who else? I listen to Red, Skillet, 3 Days Grace. The list goes on. My iPod is full of songs. Music is definitely my life. Um, okay. Next question. What is your favorite movie? That would definitely have to be Safe House, which is actually still in theaters as of right now. Denzel Washington is definitely a legendary actor. You know, he was what makes these movies so much. And there are a lot of other movies that I like by him. You know, such as Taking of Pelham 123. I Am Legend. Oh wait, no, wait. Sorry, I'm thinking of Will Smith. No. What else was he in? Uh, Deja Vu. Um, but yeah, he's a really good actor, and he's what makes those movies, and he's definitely a reason why Safe House was one of my favorite movies. All right, next question. Other than video games, what else do you like to do? Um, I like to hang out with friends, my family. I'll occasionally go to the gym with my buddies, and we'll go play volleyball, basketball. Um, and I like to exercise. You know, I go to the gym occasionally, not to boast or anything, but yeah. What else? I'm not ashamed of this. I'm just saying this is what I do. I am in the chess club at my high school. Um, I know what you guys are thinking. It's actually not a lot. It's not as bad as people think. Chess is the thinking man's game, though, but it's really fun. You know, there are a lot of nice guys there, a lot of nice people. They go on field trips out of state. You know, compete in tournaments, and you know they're a lot of fun. You know, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, all right. The last question of the day on this video is: do you plan to go to college when you're done? If so, any ideas where and what do you want to study? I haven't really been taking any serious considerations, but I've been thinking about maybe going to school down in Florida. Um, I plan to actually or take study in law enforcement. Law enforcement's a big thing in my family. A lot of my uncles are police officers. Um, my grandfather was actually in the FBI. So yeah, I plan to continue the legacy, I guess. um, and I think that's it. Um, I hope you guys got all your answers in, and guess I'll see you guys later. The first part of Assassin's Creed 1 will be uploaded tomorrow, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you later.